All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston Rockets Daily, where we post daily Houston Rockets content. If that's something you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button, man. So I was reading an article earlier today, and I very much apologize. I can't remember who wrote the article or where it was. It might have been from dreamshake.com, but it was a Houston article, and they were talking about how money having the third pick in the draft is. And right after the draft lottery, I made a video on this channel saying why we were, and still are, in my opinion, the biggest winners of the draft lottery. Now, eventually we'll see how, who gets picked number one, who gets picked number two, and we'll see who, how they evolve and if it's better than our number 3 pick. But here's a crazy ass stat. 6 out of the last 10 drafts, the best player was picked with number 3. Number 3. And essentially the article was pointing at the fact that once or twice every 10 years or so, if you are lucky, there is a generational basketball talent, i.e. LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, what have you. Melo didn't even get picked number 1. Melo got picked number 3, another good example. Some recent ones are like, what? Jaylen Brown, Tatum. Did Tatum go to 3? Damn, I don't have the best memory. But 6 out of the last 10 drafts, the best player has been number 3. And so in this year's draft class, like last year, I would have loved to have number 1 pick. I'm so happy we have Jalen Green, and I'm so excited to see what happens. But last year, I was really big on Cade Cunningham. I genuinely did and still do believe that Cade Cunningham will be a generational basketball talent. I think at the very least in his career, he will be 17, 7, and 7. He's just got talent. But Jalen Green, he's going to be one hell of a scorer. He's going to be one hell of a bucket. So in this year's draft, we have, Jabari, you got Chet, you have Paolo, you got Shaedon, you got Jaden Ivey. At no point at anywhere in the entire year was there a clear-cut number 1 option. So having the number 3 pick not only provides us with flexibility where we don't have to have these long-ass debates on, shit, man, who do we pick with number 3? Do we go with who fits our franchise best? Maybe we go with Chet with number 1 because we need a center. We can't go Ivy. Maybe we go Paolo, but what about the defense? Like, with number 1 and even number 2, there's a lot of stress there, man. There's a lot of stress there, as we saw last year with having the second pick and thinking, man, do we go Mobley? Do we go Jalen Green? You'd have Jalen Suggs' name thrown in there. For some reason, there was no talk about Scottie Barnes going to the Raptors, which, like I said, I'm so glad we have Jalen Green, but Scottie Barnes, he's going to be an absolute gem. But last year's draft class was a little bit different. It looks like, honestly, I think maybe Suggs had a very inefficient year, but I still think he's going to be good. In last year's draft, we're looking at 6 out of the 7 players picked in those 7 picks being all-stars or stars. So last year was just a loaded class. But this year, we're focused on one thing and one thing only. Who is the best player available? Literally, that's all it boils down to. Who is the best player available at number 3? I don't want to hear, oh my God, Paolo, yeah, maybe we draft Paolo, but the defense isn't great, so we should go Ivy or we should go Sharp. No. Best talent. Who is available? And, I urge against this, and the person writing the article urged against this as well, but having the third pick, it does allow you some flexibility. Not only with who are you going to draft, but it also allows you more flexibility with, all right, maybe some team really wants that third pick. Maybe some team really has their sights set on, let's say number 1 is Jabari Smith and number 2 is Paolo. And number 3, some team in the NBA is thinking, damn, dude, Chet just fell to number 3. That's less. We don't have to give us as much value for number 3 as we would for 1 and number 2. So let's make a trade. Let's call Houston. Let's get Stone on the call. All right, Stone, we'll give you, Mitchell Robinson, Cam Reddish, and the 11th pick for number 3. Hang up. No, thank you. So it gives you flexibility. If you want to trade down for assets, you have the ability to trade down for assets. Now, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I just really am not doing that. I think, like I said, there's no clear-cut number 1 guy. every draft you usually have about 2 to 3 stars. I think that's like the safe average. You got like 2 to 3 stars. They're not always picked 1 through 3, as we've seen with like, you know, the back-to-back MVP Nikola Jokic getting picked during a, what was it, a Gatorade commercial? I don't even think it was a Gatorade commercial. Some random ass commercial, and you're watching Nikola Jokic get drafted at, what was it, number 41? But we also have number 17. And with 17, we can do a lot of things with pick number 17, to be honest with you. You know, we could try and target a backup point guard if Stone isn't really vibing with Stone's not vibing with himself. If Stone's not really vibing with Dennis Schroeder, re-signing Dennis Schroeder, maybe he's thinking, you know, I don't want Daishen Nix to be the backup point guard next season. You know, whatever he's thinking, you know, he can make a couple decisions. Go Ty Washington. You know, you can make a bunch of moves. Tari Eason, I know a lot of fans are big on him. I made my video on Kai Sotto. You can never really go wrong with. I don't think Kai Sotto is getting enough hype, and you know, I'll probably make another video about Houston drafting him because he's literally such a gem. He is such a gem. Go watch my Kai Sotto Rockets video from a couple of days ago. But this is what is so vital, not only in basketball but any sport, bro. You want flexibility. I try and just hit the nail on the head every time I talk about the draft or the offseason or the Rockets in general. You want flexibility. And that's exactly what Houston has right now, dude. We're losing next year. We're getting off the books. We're getting EG off the books. So you'll be able to either re-sign him to a cheaper contract just to pay homage to the OG Rocket Cat. You know, we're getting Wall off the contract finally, or off the books, finally getting rid of that contract. Jae'Sean Tate, they're going to have to make a decision with Jae'Sean Tate. At this point, you know, I know he was all-rookie first team last year, but I don't really know if he's looking to, or 2 years ago, I don't know if he's looking at a big payday, so maybe they decide to bring back Jae'Sean Tate. We're going to be looking at a Christian Wood decision if they don't trade him in the draft or in the offseason or in the regular season. You're going to have a decision. You're going to have to make a decision on Christian Wood, man. I'm all for, honestly, either. I'm all for keeping him just because he's, at this current point in time, our best statistical player. You cannot argue it. He is our best statistical player. How much longer does that last? I doubt 1 game. I bet you Jalen Green comes next season. Man dropped 30 in his 3rd game in the NBA. I bet you Jalen Green comes out next season, drops like 25 in the opener. I guarantee it, which I'll be at. Home opener. Shout out Jorge. But anyways, bro, we're in a good spot, man. We're in a really good spot. The thing is, we got a lot of mouths to feed. So I wouldn't be surprised one bit if you start to see some players that maybe you don't want to be traded get traded. And I'm talking guys like Jae'Sean Tate, guys like Christian Wood. Eric Gordon, I'll throw him in there. I think he's safe to stay in Houston unless Houston gets an offer they just can't refuse. But they seem pretty set at having him play number 3 for at least the first half of the season, which I'm not a huge fan of in the slightest. But as far as our alternative options, I don't really like Jae'Sean Tate playing the 3 because he can't shoot. KJ Martin's cool, but he's got a lot of flaws. I feel like that's a negative way to. He's got a lot of things he can work on, right? He's a super young player, and we'll see what happens, man. But this is going to be a really fun offseason for the Houston Rockets, even if we don't make many moves and it's just the draft. Like, we're huge winners, man. So let me know your thoughts down below. That's the most important part I want you to take out of this video. I'd love to hear your opinions. I love reading all your guys' comments down below. As always, hit the like button, hit that sub button. I'll catch you guys later.